It's Thursday, the 4th of May, 2023. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 big stories today in 5 minutes. Let's jump straight in. Story number 1, the major banks, the big miners and energy stocks have led a slump on the local share market as fears around global economic growth and the state of the banking sector in the US really start to impact Australian companies.
The S&P ASX 200 has fallen sharply over the past couple of sessions, including a 1% drop yesterday. It's now trading at its lowest point since late March. The ASX is very heavy 3 sectors: banking, iron ore miners and energy stocks. In fact, 8 of the top 10 companies come from those sectors. They're the areas where all the bad news, where the bad global economic news has been coming from, Michael.
Let's take it sector by sector, Sean. The major banks were sold off after investors in global banking stocks became very nervous about the outlook for financial firms in the US.
That's right. The Commonwealth Bank, National Australia Bank, Westpac and ANZ all closed down between 1.5% and 2% yesterday. That's just 24 hours after the Reserve Bank lifted interest rates, which should be good for the banks. It followed a sell-off in US regional banks, with the share prices of some of the big lenders in the US falling 15%. The global banking system is linked, so a sneeze on Wall Street can cause a local bank to catch a cold, and that's what investors are worried about.
And so what's happening then to the energy companies? Why are their share prices falling?
That's all about oil prices at the moment. Brent fell the most in 4 months on the back of gloomy reports about the global economy. Weak US jobs data and Chinese manufacturing figures sent Brent crude down to under $76 a barrel. Good if you're buying petrol, not so much if you're an investor in companies like Beach Energy, Ampol, Woodside, Santos.
And the big miners, the iron ore plays?
Well, that's all about China. Earlier in the week, figures showed that factory output in the world's second largest economy is shrinking. Not good news for Australia, which exports tens of billions of dollars of iron ore to China each year. Hence, Fortescue Metals' share price dropped 4% yesterday. Rio was off more than 2%. BHP was down 1%. Wasn't a great day on the market, Michael.
Any good news?
Gold stocks. Gold stocks did well. Gold's up above $2,000 an ounce. Newcrest Mining, Northern Star Resources, they both did okay.
There we go. A bit of a bumper story 1 there, Sean. On to number 2 now. The massive Snowy Hydro pumped storage project will overrun its budget. It may not be fully online until the end of the decade. That's raising fears now about the reliability of the East Coast electricity grid.
The $5.9 billion project could be delayed by up to 2 years, and the federal government-owned company is working to reset the timetable and budget. Now, in a statement yesterday, Snowy Hydro said the reset will ensure that the clean energy infrastructure project is placed on a robust and sustainable footing. I hope so. The first power won't be pumped until the second half of 2028. 3 main reasons. COVID has hurt resourcing, supply chain disruptions, and what they've said is difficult geological conditions. What's that mean? Florence, the 2,000-tonne boring machine, has been stuck in soft ground for months, and 30 metres above it, a depression has appeared. Doesn't sound good, Michael.
It certainly doesn't. Story number 3, how about this? Full battery electric vehicles made up 8% of sales of new vehicles last month. That's up from 1.1% just 12 months ago.
And Tesla now has 2 vehicles in the top 10 sellers. If you include hybrids, almost 1 in 6 vehicles sold last month were electrified, including 5 of the top 10 models. Overall, sales of new vehicles were up just over 1% in April, according to the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries. Ford Ranger Ute took over the number 1 spot, beating off Toyota Hilux. The Toyota RAV4 came in at number 3, followed by the Tesla Model Y. Now, the Tesla Model 3 was 10th. Overall, Toyota, number 1, then Mazda, Kia, Hyundai and Ford. Tesla's coming in at number 8, Michael.
Okay, on to story number 4 now, Sean. And I know you don't mind a bit of a visit to Bali. The Indonesian government is considering a tourist tax of up to $100 for visitors to the island to deter unwanted guests. Do you feel targeted by this?
Well, I didn't until you mentioned it. Most people who travel to Indo for a holiday go to Bali, and the island is being overcrowded with not just short-term tourists, but also long-stayers trying to escape their home nations, particularly Europe. Malaysia accounts for the largest number of tourists, 368,000. Australia's number 3 with 280,000 tourists. There has been a jump in deportations this year, including 6 Australians, although the prize goes to the Russian nationals. 27 have been deported, mostly for failing to respect local customs. Now the government is talking about a new tax to improve the type of person visiting Bali.
All right, last one. Story number 5. This is pretty terrifying, Sean. A British computer scientist known as the godfather of AI has quit Google and expressed regret over parts of his life's work as he fears that the growth of artificial intelligence could lead to killer robots that are smarter than humans.
75-year-old Geoffrey Hinton, the head of the Google Brain Research Department, revealed his concern over the possible ultimate outcomes of his pioneering work, saying it's nearly impossible to stop bad actors from using his work for bad things. That's according to a report in the Telegraph of London. There's a growing chorus of concern. Last month, Sir Jeremy Fleming, the director of GCHQ, which is Britain's listening post, told Cabinet about the damaging potential of chatbots. Google Chief Executive Sundar Pichai recently admitted that the rapid pace of AI development keeps him up at night. And in March, Elon Musk and other tech leaders called for a 6-month pause on AI research. It is scary, Michael.
A little bit worrying. There we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Thursday, the 4th of May, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. If 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget as well, every Wednesday, as in yesterday, there's a new episode of How Do They Afford That, which is our sister podcast all about making your money work a little bit harder for you. Check that one out too. The Amazon Echo smart speaker range comes with Alexa built in. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed podcast to catch the latest episode, and you can grab yours now at amazon.com.au. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.